those horrible creatures tore off my hood!
That young woman was certainly in a hurry. And what was that about Nadoral and an attack? Yes, well, let's be on our guard then. I don't think this sinkhole is completely natural. Its size concerns me. If the ground continues to fall away, it could swallow all of Relenthiel. It certainly feels dangerous. And if it does figure into the Court of Bedlin's plans, well, I can't think of a more frightening event than watching Relenthiel get swallowed by a sinkhole. Let's proceed and find out what's going on down here. And ceiling, they don't look stable. I'll try to reinforce the weak spots and catch up with you. Those Yagra creatures. Be careful. I'll teleport closer to the central area and meet you there.
Someone there? Help! Please help! Crazy bastard! Stabbed me! God! This hurts! It was just kind of fun. Joining the court of Bedlam. Espousing the virtues of our Ultima heritage. But Nadoral, he took things too far. When we heard that they planned to release those creatures, I made the mistake of saying they were insane. Nadoral objected, called me unworthy. That's when he stabbed me.
The court of Bedlam will eradicate the lesser races. Maybe even deal with our unworthy queen.
Over here. Keep quiet and tell me if you see what I see. You see that, right? My eyes aren't playing tricks on me. That's a sea slode. They haven't been seen in Summerset since, well, it's been centuries at least. A vile and dangerous species. Very powerful. The sea slode come from the distant underwater kingdom of Ulvorkus. Who's that hooded figure with the slode? And look, more of those abyssal pearls. They're everywhere. The slode are a godless people. Perhaps the most hated in Tamriel. And the sea slode are even worse. They employ depraved magic and have long coveted Summerset. They believe it once belonged to them. They pillage, release plagues. They're horrible. The hooded figure could be a member of this so-called Court of Bedlam. At this point, nothing would surprise me. That slode has me worried, though. I can't think of anything worse than an alliance between those foul beasts and Daedric cultists. They could certainly have a connection to the sea slode's submerged kingdom, but they appear to have been placed down here. Look how the Yagra are drawn to them. I'll head for the sea slode. You deal with those abyssal pearls.
Master! Intruders in the cave!
Heed me, my creatures! Destroy the intruders!
Get over there.
Witness the power of Katora, the Abyssal Cabal!
This way! Up here! Damn! No sign of where the sea slow disappeared to. Damn it! I wasn't fast enough. For the time being, let's see what's through that opening. The sea sloth left us something to remember it by. We need to dispatch that creature. Over there.
Hurry, this way! Somehow Raz knew he'd find you.
Sea sloths? This is worse than the Rightmaster imagined. Meet me in Artaeum after you talk to the Queen's Eye.
Did the pretty Sijik say sea sloth? No. Raz must have heard wrong. That could not have been what she said. Sloth? That's bad. And sea sloth? That sounds even worse. If the sea sloth threatens Summerset, Queen Irene must be informed. We need to act. Wait. What did you say about the Cannon Reeve's son? Daedra worshippers. In Summerset. And Sloth. Oh, Raz likes this situation less and less. As for Nedoral, Raz knows how to deal with traitors. This one will meet you at the Cannon Reeve's house.
The Eye of the Queen? How dare you accuse my son of treason? The Queen's Eye. How dare he not identify himself when he first arrived? And how dare he accuse my foolish son of something as serious as treason? The Queen shall hear of this, mark my words. Sea slowed? Plus all this nonsense about Altma's superiority, and now murder? I am the Canon Reeve of Relenthil. I took an oath to serve and protect my community. How in the Queen's name am I supposed to reconcile my son's actions? Oh, Nadoril, what have you done? Please, you must talk to the Queen's Eye. He needs to show mercy. I'm sure we can find a way to resolve this without... Oh, here comes Nadoril now.
Foolishness can be ignored. Murder and treason, not so much.
You and your queen have no authority over a true Altma, you mangy cat.
This one cannot allow your crimes to stand unanswered.
Nadoril! No! No! I understand. Relenthil is loyal to the Queen.
Sometimes the eye sees treason and must cut it out before it spreads. This one is sorry you had to witness that. Blasphemy, treason, murder. How many crimes must one commit to attract the attention of the executioner's blade? Raz decided that a message had to be sent. Enemies of the Queen will not be tolerated. Treason and the Queen's justice are serious business. Raz has been forced into this role on rare occasions, but he never seeks it out or looks forward to wielding the blade. A necessary part of my job, yes. No. Raz will see to the Canon Reeve and send word to the Queen before looking deeper into the Court of Bedlam. You should return to Arteum and let the Sijiks know what we learned. I tell you, Five Claw, this whole situation makes Raz want to hiss.
Thank you for heeding my call, newcomer. I don't suppose your passage to Summerset brought you past Waston Coraldale? My father, Curteros, runs a boat in an angler fleet. They're long overdue, and while his stride tends to be a leisurely one, I've never seen the whole fleet gone for so long. I'm probably over-concerned. The weather's been fair and the wind's mild. Perhaps their fishing has been so fruitful they dare not waste their good fortune. But I'd feel better if I knew what to make of their delay. The fleet set off west. Waston Coraldale is an island engulfed by coral reefs, but you can reach it safely in that sailboat. I'd go with you, but I'm afraid I don't share my father's comfort with open water. Not especially. I've never been myself, but Father's only remarked about the occasional ornery coral crab or hungry salamander. The reefs are the only real hazard, but only to a ship of considerable size and flimsy make. Oh, there's not much to tell. He's plied the sea for its bounty for as long as I can recall, and that's some time, mind you. We eat well, and he makes a fair bit of coin with his best catches, but sometimes I wish he'd keep a bit more lively. Not since I was very young. My father took me fishing once, showed me how to bait a hook, coax a bite and work the line until the catch tires out. It wasn't meant to be an eventful trip, but it turned out that way. Father dozed off, so I continued to apply what I'd learnt without him. Soon enough, I'd hooked my first catch. Or rather, it hooked me. Yanked me clear off the boat and into the deep. I was too shocked to let go of the rod, nearly drowned. Yes, fished me out of the drink, quite literally. He still calls me his prized catch. It's funnier when you're not coughing up seawater.
Well, never seen you before. Guess no one told you that this is my spot. Been my spot nearly a century. And it'll be my spot a century more, God's willing. So don't go getting any ideas. Plenty of space down the coast. So, off with you now. Huh, fancy that. I told Hiranessa for years those sea elves would mount an invasion from Waston Coraldale. Figures they'd launch it while I was having a nap. Well, come along then. Let's send them off before they hook all the best catches. Of course. Any Royal Marine of the Queen's Navy worth their salt would. Might have traded my saber for a fishing rod, but I've still got my sea legs, and I'm still as sharp as the day I mustered. The others I sail with are civilians, though. Aye. Even if they caught a glimpse of a sea elf cutter before it reached Waston Coraldale, there's no chance a fishing boat would have outrun it. If anyone from the fleet's still alive out there, it's our duty to help them. Best we split up. Unless my creaking knees give me away, I ought to be able to handle some scouting while you're searching for survivors. We'll rendezvous at the old lover's tree near the reef on the eastern shore. My friends will know the one. Unless I'm caught. Won't be much use to the sea elves as a prisoner, but I'll black an eye or two before I greet my maker. Tell her my children are grown and my wants are few. But I cannot say the same for my friends. I've had a good life. I don't mind trading what's left of it, so others might have the same. 3 aside from myself: Indolina, Aldoterel, and Carterel. Not much of a fleet when you compare it to the Royal Armada, but we're the scourge of anything with guilds. Hope you find them safe and sound. Too quiet. If one of them had reached the mainland, the Royal Navy would have sent ships to intercept these sea elves by now. No one knows they're here except us. Enemy movement, numbers, positions, assess our situation. I hope to have a plan by the time you've finished your search.
Sacred Ascendants, take me home. I thought you were a sea elf. One moment I was just dipping my toes in the shallows having a pleasant day. The next there's a murderous corsair or hungry reef viper around every corner. We're trapped. He's alive. At his age, I'd have thought he'd be the first to fall prey to those sea elves. Should have given the stubborn old salt more credit. I'll make my way to him. Better than waiting to die out here. Thank you.
Stranger, don't anger the salamanders. They're the only thing keeping those sea elves from wandering too close. What are you doing out here? I've never seen you before. You're sure we're talking about the same Kurtaros? The one I know is more likely to be mistaken for dead and sleep right through this whole mess.
All this crouching is damnation on my back. But I've seen everything I need to know what the enemy's up to. How fares the search? Any sign of Carterel? Never do when it comes to these sea elves. They rob us of more than a few good souls before all is said and done here. They're digging in, placing ballistae along the shore. When the Royal Navy finally does mount an attack, they'll be taking fire from Maormer on both land and sea. It'll be a bloodbath, unless some misfortune befalls their plans. Catch my drift? I'm not suggesting we repel the whole invasion, but I do know my way around a ballista. If we turn one toward their own ships and cause enough of a stir, we can draw on a friendly patrol and catch the sea elves out of their element. I'll get into position and await your attack. Then we'll give those sea snakes a good spearing while these two make for your vessel. You do have a vessel, don't you? All right. You two go prepare the boat our friend brought. We'll provide a distraction. Trinamac's wrath be with us.
Seals. Fond of winged snakes and soggy chests. Noted. Fleshy, thick-thumbed biped. Hello. You're an elf, right? Or is it a man? I'm sorry. I have some difficulty telling you people apart. You're much less blue than the others. In color, I mean, not disposition. Anyway, what can I do for you? Josiah. Ah, fleshy, thick-thumbed biped. Hello. You're an elf, right? Or Josiah. Josiah. Wait, you're talking about that jittery mage I tricked into freeing me, right? Oh, she's a delight. I had hoped for a longer holiday. Can only manage a leap like this once a century, after all. Ah, well. I'm actually quite comfortable here, mate. Cozy accommodations, the transliminal tones of the ocean waves, gangly meat brains to mock. But I guess I should be going. These elves plan to sell me. Can you imagine? I'll help you. On one condition. When we're done sewing up these chronosymphonic when we're done sewing up these time breaches, you'll let me wander the Mundus in peace. No more dim-witted Sijiks peppering me with questions. No more dusty shells. You have a deal? Right. So, should we get going, or...? Of course you do. Everyone asks questions, and I have all the answers. Fair warning, be specific. I'm bound to tell the truth, but the truth can be a little... slippery. You know what I mean? I'm a traveler like you, except... well, nothing like you, to be honest. No offense. I'm what you might call an aspect, eh? Like, an idea's shadow. Don't make a face, I'm telling you the truth. Not my fault your language is so crude. I'm not in the skull. I am the skull. At least here on Nern. Over in the adjacent place, I'm shaped like a throw pillow. Imagine that. You look confused. It's just a trick of the light, mate. The skull's what you might call a manifestation. Of me? Ah, this is just sad. Try this. Imagine a soul gem. Got it? Now imagine that the soul in the gem is also the gem itself. Weird, right? Ha! Mime and a head explosion. You can't see it because I haven't got any arms, but it's happening. I am one of the unfortunate quirks of the Sijic binding ritual that brought me here. I'm free to lie as much as I like, unless you, or anyone else for that matter, ask me a direct question. Cheap trick if you ask me. They did, a bit. I'm certain I could break out if I really put my mind to it. I don't blame them, honestly. If I was in their position, bobbing along like a little lost acorn in an ocean of knowledge, I'd want to trap me too. I guess, but instantaneous translocation's not like a Sundas scroll. The veil here in Mundus is all thick and sticky, you know? Like I said before, I think I'm grounded for the foreseeable future. I will. I am. I had no idea you were so funny. We're gonna have a really good time, you and I. Yes, in answer to your direct question, I do know a lot, and by a lot, I mean basically everything. Well, an augur of the obvious wouldn't be very useful, would it? For what it's worth, I lobbied for something way more impressive. The resplendent skull of hexagonal wonders! It was forcefully vetoed. No counting for taste, I guess. Of course I do. Everything has a name. Names give a thing its shape. Birds, snowflakes, tea kettles, you get the idea. I'd tell you mine, but you'd need about 6 more tongues and a pair of symbols to pronounce it correctly, so let's not bother. Fair enough. So, where to? I assume you've got a map or something?
cutter. He didn't call me the scourge of the sea drakes for nothing. This is what Carterville! Captain coming aboard. Boats prepped and ready.
Father! You have me so worried. What happened? Where's your boat?
None of that now, Minerva's Cup. I'll tell you all about it. But first, there's one more thing we need to see to. Come, friends. It's time we commit our memories to the drink.
He washes up here after being gone for weeks, his boat nowhere in sight, and he acts like it's just another day on the sea. Was everything all right? Did he cause you any trouble? Oh, he put you up to that, didn't he? Papa always loves to embellish his journeys. Whatever the truth is, I'm just glad you brought him home safe. If all newcomers are so kind, Summerset will be fortunate to have you. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's putting on a brave face, like he used to whenever I'd ask him about his younger days. He'd smile and deflect the question, but I could see a sadness in his eyes he couldn't hide. His secret. The fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon and stars winked on the day of my birth, and tall tales about his fishing voyages. Before that, not a word. Not once. I don't think I'll ever get the truth out of him. 70 years isn't enough? I love my father, but all I want is to love him for who he is, not who he shows me. When he was missing, I wasn't just worried I'd lose him. I was worried I'd never get the chance to know him. You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman bawling about her father to a stranger. Forgive me. You did enough bringing him home safe. What comes after is up to me. Oh, yes. She and Carterell have been together for years. She used to look after me when I was younger, while Father and the others were off at sea. She's a good friend. I imagine she'll be with Father and the others, waiting to see Carterell when she arrives. He and his mates have a tradition of celebrating their safe return. They're partial to a small batch brewer on the south side of Alinor, by the craft masons. They'll probably be there all night. The fanciful story of 70 years isn't enough? You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman...
Oh, you're going to love this one. I'm seeing a tiny island surrounded by... It's either water or cats. Difficult to say. Let's hope it's the cats, eh?
You may have ended this geyser, but more are set to burst!
just weird sack animal bones, right? So, this is a bit like a cemetery, I guess. Ugh. You do not... You know, coral's just weird sack animal bones, right? So, this is a bit like a cemetery, I guess. Ugh. You do not want to know what their ghosts look like. Oh, jeez. I'll leave it at that.
Huh?